up, you guys? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, I want to go ahead and jump into the new Harrow tweaks that have come out from hotfix 21.0.4. So as you guys know, I'm on my way to TennoCon right now, so there's gonna be no cam, nothing fancy, because to be honest with you, I don't have a face on, and I gotta go jump in the shower in a hot second to get out the door. But I did want to make sure to get this information out to you really quickly. So as you guys know, there's a lot of kind of ups and downs with Harrow. Some people were saying that he wasn't powerful enough, that they need a little more ump. Some people were saying that he's in a good spot, but you know what? I will take a buff whenever they've got a buff, and they have got buffs aplenty for Harrow today. So let's go ahead and jump into his penance. So his second ability now has increased duration from shields, so you get more duration per shielding. They've increased the duration cap, because you guys know in the last patch they dropped it down to 60. They've now increased it to 120 seconds. Now that is pretty fucking substantial. I mean, like, that is a good, you're like passively gonna be, just as long as you're killing things, as long as you're killing things and you remember to toss the buff up, it is gonna be absolutely fantastic. They've increased the fire rate from 25 to 35. They've increased the reload speed from 50 to 70. Now that just basically makes penance more of like, how do I say this? Because before, for me, penance was pretty fucking fantastic, but you just always had to remember to keep turning it on. That was the major thing. Now, because of the fact that you have the maximum duration of 120 seconds, this thing is going to be on for even longer. You just have to keep watching your timers and make sure that it's on. Next, let's move on to Thurible. They've increased the range from 15 to 20 meters. To me, honestly, I didn't really have an issue with the range for this one at all. They've sped up the energy channeling by 50%. Oh, thank Jesus! Thank Jesus, thank Jesus. I'm gonna be honest with you, this one I didn't really have that much of an issue with, but it was kind of like one of those things where you're like, alright, let me turn on Thurible. Oh shit, there are like 5 guys shooting at me right now. Maybe I should turn off Thurible, but wait a second, hold on, if I turn it off now, it's not gonna be enough of a, like, of an energy return. So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta like hide in a corner somewhere real quick. So now you'll be able to charge up Thurible even faster, which means less of those moments where you're like, okay, do I keep channeling so I get a good amount of energy for this Thurible, or do I just cancel it now and make sure that everybody stays alive? The energy channeling speed is now affected by natural talent, so I guess it wasn't before. It's not something that I really decided to use on my build, but at least now you know you can crank out those Thuribles even faster. Now, lastly, for Harrow himself, Condemned, they've increased the crit per 100 damage from 1.25 to 1.5. This is crazy. Now initially it was just 1. Then recently they changed it to 1.25. Now they've just changed it to 1.5. And you know what? I will always take a buff. I will always take a motherfucking buff. Now, I do want to kind of give you guys a heads up, and maybe this is a little spoilery. I don't, if you guys haven't played the quest yet, but I do want somebody, if you have the opportunity, to leave this in the comment box below. A Donda decoration has been added. After completing the Chains of Harrow quest, visit Palladino in Iron Wake to purchase your Donda for a small ducat fee. Shiny for a shiny. So that's kind of like a thing. Ooh, well, we'll discuss that in a second. Oh, that was interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna check real quick. We're gonna jump into a very quick game real fast after we reviewed all of that. I want to see how this feels, but I also want to see if Iron Wake exists on Earth. Iron Wake? Yes! Okay, I was worried for a hot second that you would not be able to get to Iron Wake if you would not be able to get to Iron Wake if you didn't do the quest again. I didn't know it was a spot that you could revisit. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Now I'm gonna jump into this mission real fast, and we're gonna see and we're gonna feel exactly how this build works. I'm just gonna stay in for one round. We'll go ahead and review the build that I've got going towards the very end, so if you're interested in that, you can stick around for the gameplay. See, no fancy cuts or anything. We're just jumping in because legit I still have hair on my face from a haircut that I heard. Let's see this. Oh, okay. The animation itself doesn't look to be any faster, but it's doing something. I mean, it did a thing, so I can't really hate on it. If they did increase it, I don't feel like the animation speed was increased. Maybe just the actual, like, just the actual whatever it was. Oh, I need to reload, but I want to kill some enemies. Ooh. Alright. So, let's just go ahead and kill things and see if we can get some energy on it. Come on. Durable. I need to go and do some condemn so that we can take a look at the duration of this thing because, legitimately, those juicy headshots. Juicy headshots. Yes. Yes, babies. Yes. Alright. I think I've got a good chunk on there. Let's go ahead. I think that's almost maxed. That's almost my max. Do I want to try to max it out? Yeah, let's go ahead and try to max it out. Alright. Let's penance this. Oh, 74 seconds. Not bad, not bad. So, with my build at a max, at the duration that I currently have it on, I've got about 75? Did it say 74, 75 seconds on it? Not too bad. So that's over a minute. I will take it. 120 seconds. 120 seconds. God, you would have to do like a narrow-minded or something with that in order to get that going. Let's go ahead and toss on this Thurible. Ooh, I still have that. I still have the moment where I'm like, do you want to kill him now? Oh, this bastard. Come on. At least now we have it a little bit more passive. Because for me, when we're talking about Harrow, one of the big things that I always kind of like, I always kind of picture him as this cross between passive and active healing. You know how what's his name? How Oberon is a very passive healer. He basically just turns on a buff and then he's done. As opposed to Trinity, who is an active healer, who basically you gotta go ahead and you gotta use an ability in order to toss on your heal. Well, I feel like that's kind of like how it works with Harrow. Like with Harrow, it's a combination of passive and active. All you have to do is remember to turn on your buffs and you should be good. That's pretty much how that is. Ooh, got a blueprint of myself. But for Harrow, you gotta keep your buffs on, and you gotta make sure they stay on, and you gotta make sure to keep killing. So it's kind of like this interesting juggling act, which I don't necessarily hate. I know some people are not super into it at all, but personally, in my eyes, I quite like it. And I think one of the things I was discussing with somebody is they were not very fond of it, but I had played healers in previous games, and this was something that I was super used to. This was something that I did. You manage bars. And for me, it was funny because I remember being a healer back in the day, and one of the things that I would always do is I would literally plant myself in place unless it was a mob that was specific that, you had to dodge things on. I would plant myself in place, and then I would literally just look at the bars. It would literally just be it would be bar fight. I would be fighting the enemy via the bars. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but that's pretty much how it worked. That's how it worked in my eyes. Okay. Let's see. Next round we'll go ahead and do Covenant just to see how if that feels extra juicy. Because even before I'll be honest, I felt like it was a little difficult in order to get like a really thick and chunky what is it called? A really thick and chunky Covenant crit chance. I mean, you'd literally have to be standing in the middle of enemies in order to get that to the full like 200% charge rate, you know? Let me go ahead and turn on my boofs for the round. Alright, healed myself. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on some Thurible action. Yeah, I don't feel like it's any faster, but I didn't necessarily have an issue with it being too fast. Baby, was he just standing there? Was that poor baby man was he just like, ooh, was he just, okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Come on, hit me. Hit me, bitches. Hit me, bitch. Hit me, bitch. Come on. You wanna hit me? Anybody wanna hit me? Somebody? Alright, 66% chance. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. But that is I think that's for headshots though. Ooh. So, I don't know. I still feel like, well, I won't say it's a challenge, but it's definitely, if you're trying to get max stacks with it, you'd either need a lot of power strength in order to get it done. But for me, I definitely kind of play him as a healer and just kind of keep my eye on the bars of everybody involved to make sure that everybody's doing all right. And I mean, he seems to be doing the job just fine. It's all just about managing, all about managing bars. Whoop. See, you manage those bars, you manage that bar, you're good. All right, so let me go ahead and turn this on real quick. But yeah, I don't know about the rest of you guys. Did you guys feel like he needed, like, was he like in desperate need of a buff, or was this just like a nice little, like, oh, that's pleasant, that's a nice little change that they've got for us, a little bonus? Because for me, to be honest with you, this feels like a bonus. I've been able to keep groups up in pretty dire circumstances. Woo, I saw that 700 point heal. Somebody's getting hurt somewhere, I'm telling you right now. Oh, let's go ahead and toss that on because it looked like someone was taking some hits. But it seems I seem to be doing fine. Ooh, something is damaging. Ooh, 110% on headshots. All right, I'm happy about this. Whew. Yeah, I don't know about anybody else. But for me, I personally thought that this was just kind of like icing on top of the cake, and that's what I think a lot of things are sometimes. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you know, I've always kind of felt like Warframe's a little bit easy. So when, and maybe this is just perspective from somebody who's played MMOs for a long period of time, but I felt like Warframe's pretty gosh darn easy, so I never really thought of it as a challenge. So when you have a Warframe that's maybe a little bit more mechanically intensive to play, like you have to look at your energy bar, you have to look at your health bar, you have to look at your shielding bar, I'm all good for that. I'm Gucci. That feels totally fine for me, and it's a nice welcome challenge, because I was actually talking to Mogamu about this, and he was like, this seems a little fiddly, and I'm like, oh, but it's what I'm used to, it's what I was raised on. So maybe take that as kind of like a grain of salt for future frames and future ways that I kind of look at Warframes. Like, I don't think Warframe is a very hard game, and I don't think that managing bars is very difficult. I've had a history of, like, I didn't just wake up one day and just decide to play Warframe. I've been, you know, I used to play a whole bunch of different games previous to this, and I actively sought out difficult MMOs to play. There was one called Vanguard that was supposed to be known to be one of the most difficult, and I went ahead and took the most difficult class in that, and or at least what people said was a very difficult class in that, and it was called the Blood Mage. And the Blood Mage is actually very similar to Harrow, where you would life leech from enemies onto your allies, and you would do like these cool packs where you would combo things together, and you would spend like blood points or something to do these like heal over times. So I like managing multiple things has never been a bad thing for me, unless of course I'm live on stream. But regardless, let me know what you guys feel about the buffs in the comments below. Did you feel that they were desperately needed, or did you feel like they were just icing on top of the cake? If you hadn't played Harrow before, are you going to be playing Harrow now? Are you going to recheck them out? And one more thing that I did want to make note of, and I feel like this is just really, really random. I'm putting this at the very, very end because I forgot to mention this again. For your operators, when you are in operator mode, they've added a notification of energy gained by hitting enemies with Void Dash. It was always 10 energy an enemy, but you could never see it, but now you can. So that's also a nice little buff. Keep that in mind for future things, and that pretty much does it for me today. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye! I literally waved at the camera. I'm such a fucking geek.